In the town of Middlebury, Vermont, there is a grave marker in the Western Cemetery that is innocuous from a distance. It is a couple of feet high, gray, and rectangular in shape. When viewed up close, its uniqueness becomes apparent. It has Egyptian hieroglyphs, a royal name in the Convention of the Pharaohs, and a death year in the BC era. The remains are said to belong to the son of Senwizet III, a renowned pharaoh of the 12th dynasty during the Middle Kingdom period. He reigned for nearly 4 decades in the 19th century BC. It's believed that he had a young son named Amun-Her-Khepeshef, who died in childhood. He was then mummified and buried, possibly in the necropolis at Deshur, where much of the rest of the family would eventually be entombed. The modern portion of his story begins in the late 1800s. Henry L. Sheldon was the founder of a museum that bears his name in Middlebury, Vermont. The museum focused on local and state history, but Sheldon was also interested in collecting unique items from different locations and time periods to add to the collection. At the time, the fascination with ancient Egypt was quickly growing, and artifacts were appearing in museums and antique shops. This, unfortunately, also included mummified remains. These artifacts and human remains were either acquired through legitimate excavations or through Egyptian looters and grave robbers. Sheldon purchased his mummy, which was said to be Prince Amun-Her-Khepeshef, in October 1886. He bought it sight unseen from a New York coin and stamp dealer named Edward Frossard for the price of $10. The exact identity and provenance of the mummy has been disputed by historians, but markings that accompanied the mummy apparently indicated that it was the young prince, and the body was estimated to be that of a child between the ages of 2 and 5. From what could be gathered, the museum's website states that grave robbers had broken into a tomb in the mid-1800s and sold its contents to Spanish traders, who then sold it to a Paris auction house where Frossard had purchased it from. Contrary to what is sometimes said, the mummy was never displayed in the Sheldon Museum. It arrived in Middlebury in apparently poor condition, with some of its bandages rotting. Sheldon was disappointed but didn't want to part with what he still considered an important connection to antiquity and stored the mummy in the museum's attic. The climate of rural Vermont was certainly different from the arid conditions in Egypt, and the mummy's condition only deteriorated further over the years. In 1945, the new president of the museum, George Meade, decided to finally give the mummy a proper burial. He had it cremated and placed it in his family plot in the West Cemetery. Its marker includes a brief description of who the mummy was, as well as an ankh and a quailchick, symbols of mummification and rebirth respectively in ancient Egyptian tradition. The original grave marker unfortunately fell over in 2023 and was broken beyond repair, but a newer, slightly simplified version has since been placed in its spot. It's a novel story, especially for a small New England community, but it explains why an Egyptian mummy, quite possibly a prince, ended up in a Vermont town, separated from his home and the life he knew by 4,000 years and just as many miles.